Hello, everyone. It's Marcia Baker. Welcome to another edition of Read, Pray, Sketch. Today is day 8. I am so excited. I love what I'm seeing in the Facebook group, and I just love what you guys are doing with this. It's working for me. I think it is working for you. So let's do a little housekeeping first. Let's look at the screen. So if you don't have the printable and you still would like to participate, go to www.blessinks.com. This is our website where we have lots of resources for visual faith, and sign up for that newsletter. So you could just sign up. So email address, first name, last name, and then be sure and hit submit. Then you should get an email with a welcome with a link to the members only page. And then when you go to the members only page, you should see something that looks like this. And underneath there'll be the little link where you can actually get the printable. You get the printable, which I'll show you what it looks like here in just a second. And if you're watching on YouTube, if you would just hit subscribe, that would be so huge for me. It just tells me I should keep doing YouTubes. If you could tell a friend, it'd be even huger. Is that a word? There we go. So back to me. So here's the printable. And so it's, I think, 8 sheets, but I've got some um, fonts that you could practice and a practice sheet for that, and then icons, and then we've got the 10 days with the verses already. So today's verse is timely advice is as lovely as golden apples in a silver basket. So let's get started on that one. And I've got a couple different versions, but this was one of the very first verses that I did. This one I did on the computer, but and because what really scares me is I can't find the original that I've actually hand painted, but it looks a lot like this. Um, and I love this one. A word aptly spoken is like a golden apple in settings of silver. So, and then I think ours, I mean, there's a couple different versions, but anyway, so basically, speaking good words to people in the right time. So having discernment to say the right thing at the right time is really important. And so anyway, so there's my print of that. So let's get started. So where's the paper? So we got blank paper because I want to show you how to draw some things. So here's the travel journal. So I decided to do diagonals today, so I drew a little apple pie there. And so here's a place for the journal and prayers and gratitudes. And then this one is like apples of gold in settings of silver is a word spoken in the right circumstances. So Proverbs 25:11. And so we're going to learn to draw this bowl, and this is the, oh, I had it flipped till tomorrow, so hang on a second. And then this is my journal that I did today. So this one says, timely advice is as lovely as golden apples in a basket of silver. So I did a basket. We're going to draw apples. I'm going to show you how to draw the banner here. And again, today I just did boxes just to kind of keep it nice and open. And well, I can't wait to see what you guys do. So let's get started. So supplies today, though, I used these two. I used my Prismacolors, which I don't know where my lid is right now. My Prismacolors to color, and I will show you how I colored those apples. Oh, there's my lid. So start. There we go. I just got too much stuff going on here. So my Prismacolors 24 set, and I'll show you how I colored those apples. And then I also went back and I used this gold marker, this Pilot gold marker and Pilot silver marker. So I kind of like the way they show. And I don't know if you can see, but I used them. I didn't use a lot, but I mean, just kind of, you can just kind of see a little sheen there for the silver. And again, kind of a little sheen on the basket. I use that, but you know, you can color the whole thing. That could be a choice. So all right, let's get started, and let's draw some things. So the first thing I want to show you is the banner. So let's do this banner in so I'm going to just do in pencil here. Just going to draw 2 lines like that in pencil, and then I'm going to come in and I'm going to draw this line right here. I'm going to start here and I'm going to just draw. So it's kind of an upside down J, but it's a really small J. I'm probably going to make mine a little more pronounced so you can see. So it kind of goes up and then down, right? So because we want to create a little space right there, right? And then I'm going to just continue down on the other side of the bar, but not go all the way down. All right, so now I've created the back, and then let's go create the front. So I'm just going to come straight over, straight down, and then I've kind of, these are parallel at this moment, and I'm just going to kind of eyeball in where the middle is. I'm going to kind of say that, and then I'm just going to bring my lines there. But there's nothing to say that you couldn't draw. You could do a rounded, nothing to say you couldn't do square, or you could do an inverted V. So those are all choices for banners. So then let's erase this line right here, right? Okay, and then let me continue on. So I'm going to just create the pole right there, right? And then you can write whatever you want on the banner. Tuesday, October 27th, 2020. Okay, and then the next thing is I'm going to switch to my Sharpie pen and just create a shadow there. All right, and so you'll see the way I actually did it was I actually did it with lines. Let's see if you can see that a little closer. There we go. Maybe that's kind of close. So I did it with lines, and then I went back in with the green. So to color that. All right. So there's that. So let's look about how we draw a freestanding apple. It could be, I mean, apples, if you just draw something round, that's more of a tomato, right? So you can, so that looks like a tomato, but I mean, you could, so I think the distinguishing thing with the apple is it's got kind of that little U, upside down U, and then we put a little half circle, and then we draw a line. And then if we wanted to, we could come in and put a leaf in there, and we know it's an apple. You can make your apples more square, like that, and that works. And you could make your apples round, but it's going to be like, oh, is that what that could be a blueberry. So depending on how you colored it. So, but in general, I think the best thing is just to start out with that little U, just not very big. And you could actually put one on the top too, because really that's more how apples are. That to me is a more realistic apple, so to speak, in the big scheme of things. So there's that. All right, so now let's put some apples in the basket. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw this oval here, which is slightly curved. So it's slightly curved. I'm going to draw this piece, and then I'm going to draw the handle, and then I'm going to fill in the apples. Okay, and then I'll show you how to do it in the bowl. All right, so I'm going to come down here, and I have a slightly curved line, and I'm going to come over and make the rim of the basket. And then I'm going to just go up and back down. Try and keep them as parallel as possible. And now we have the rim of the basket. And so if we want to just draw the rest of the basket, just kind of a square with some rounded corners. So I'm going to switch to the Sharpie pen, and then I'm just going to draw some rounded spaces. And if you wanted to give it that little U on top, you can certainly do that, or just make it round. You do that. All right, we're going to call that done. Well, maybe one more. All right, and then we're just going to go back in, and we're going to just do that half circle and the line to give us that. And you can put them in any direction you want. They don't have to all be going the same direction, right? So a half circle facing upwards and a line. So that says that this apple is coming out in front of the basket handle. All right. So there's my apples. All right. So let me show you how to color an apple. So I'm going to choose, so really the trick is you want 3 tones, right? So I'm going to grab this yellow, yellow, orange, and then I'm going to grab this brown. And I could also do it in red if you wanted a red apple. Okay, I'm going to try to do it that way. So let me draw a bigger apple. I don't want to take too long, right, to draw this, but there's an apple. So if it's a golden apple, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to color this really thoroughly, try and stay in the lines, but just put down a yellow coat. And so I love the Prismacolor because they're not waxy. If you try to do this with the Crayola, you know, they've just got so much wax in it, you're just not getting a lot of good pigment color on there. So let's put down a really, really good coat of that. And then you got to figure out where your sun's coming from. So I'm just going to say my sun is here, right? So therefore, if it hits, so this area will be the lightest, right? And everything else will be in shadow, right? Especially the further you go. So I'm going to leave this area. I just did it really, really lightly. So if you can see that. So this area right here, I'm going to leave really light. I'm going to leave yellow. And then I'm just going to start coloring this yellowy orange kind of around the edges, right? All right, so it's kind of starting to take a little bit of look of a silver apple, right? So I'm going to go ahead and kind of color that middle section. So really leave that the very middle the brightest, right? So you can kind of see it's taking shape. You can see kind of a distinct difference. And then I'm going to come in with, so it's going to be really dark down here. And you just kind of start putting a little brown. So if you had you could probably, I don't know how orange apples are, but if you got a golden apple, then I think, you know, sometimes gold can kind of have a little brown, and especially around this indentation here. It's an indenture, but indentation here. So, you know, but all along, and then, you know, depending on how much you want to blend, you can go back. I would probably then, if it was me, go back with my medium color and go over the darker and the medium just to blend it a little bit better. And then I know this is quick, but that's how I would do my apple. So that's the quick lesson on how to blend with your colors. So again, we're about kind of keeping things minimal supplies. And so, you know, if we've got markers, a little watercolor, and some um, color pencils, we should be good. For 90% of what we need, that's probably everything that we need. So, so let me just do one apple really quickly. Let's do this apple here. I'm going to do this apple, so I'm going to color it in yellow. All right. And then on the edges, I'm going to come around. I'm going to assume that the sun's coming this direction. You got to decide. If you want to come in this direction, that's fine. Just decide then where your sun is going to hit the brightest spot. So again, I'm leaving the brightest spot in the middle. But notice that this apple is sitting on top of this. So if I use my brown, I'm going to have a bigger shadow there, right? Right? So I'm going to kind of have a shadow. I might have a little bit on that side. And then when I do this apple next to it, it's going to have a shadow. I mean, I'm skipping the yellow parts, but you can kind of see. So where we have overlap, we're going to add more shadow. And then if we wanted to add shadow for our apple here, so kind of we could just add some gray to kind of put it on the table, or if we're going to add some shadow to our basket, gray's a good choice, or even if you have just a pencil, but this is a gray colored pencil. So that's how you color in your apples. So let me show you the patterns that I used. So I'm going to use the bigger, bolder. So for this, for the, you know, you assume you've got some vines. So I just used just kind of a two lines together to just kind of maybe indicate I kind of wrapped the handle so the twines would stay together. And then I came back with the silver and just colored in those two lines. Just did a little silver. So this is an, you know, there's a lot of metallic pens out there. Some are okay, some I'm not in love with. But anyway, so there's that. In this spot, I simply did, I did this pattern here. I did, um, I did the basket weave at an angle. Let me make that bigger. So I'm just going to do 3 or 4 lines, filling up the space. So this is what it actually looks like. Anyway, and that just sort of just differentiates that it is that the lip around the basket to kind of give it a little bit different feel than the body of the basket. Okay. And then this one is going to be the basket weave. And it's like one of my very favorites. It goes so fast and it looks so nice. So I'm going to make 4 vertical lines, and then I'm going to make 4 for perpendicular or horizontal lines. And then I'm just going to repeat that pattern for vertical, for horizontal, vertical. And then I'm going to switch and I'm going to do horizontal and then vertical, horizontal, vertical, horizontal. And then when you keep doing this and then switch again, so these are, so it's vertical, horizontal, vertical, right? So, and then horizontal, vertical, horizontal. And then all of a sudden you have this lovely basket weave. And so put that in the middle of the basket like I did here. And you have a basket, a silver basket of golden apples. All right. And pretty much this is the same. So this one, I am going to just draw my half circle. And then I'm going to come down, finish my half circle, kind of make it look like a moon. Going to draw the bottom of a trapezoid to give my basket something to sit on, to my and then I'm going to just draw. I'm going to switch over to my Sharpie pen if I can figure out where I put that. And then just going to draw apples in there. All right, and then I'm going to give them all my little stem. Like that. And then if you wanted, you could give your basket a little more definition. Like if I put a little row of hearts here and maybe assume, since it is a silver basket, if it was cut out, maybe I would have a little row of hearts there, and I would also color those the same gold that I colored the apples, right? And then maybe you just want to have dots in your basket to kind of show that your basket is aired out, or you could even draw little tiny squares to show that your basket is a good basket for fruit and that your fruit can have good circulation and not get all stagnant and rot faster. So that's just another way to do that. And then if you wanted to color it gray or silver, you just have lots of choices. So today's pretty easy, just pretty fun. One of my very, very favorite verses. And then, well, where is everything when you need it, right? So tomorrow, let's look at tomorrow's verse. There it is. So figure out what icon we're going to use tomorrow. So tomorrow is day 9. So just want to remind you, I'm working on a journal that's going to have 365 verses. So this is, and I'm not going to date it. So because this may be something that, you know, you just have a season in your life for 3 months that you're just going to do this every day because you can't get to your Bible journal because maybe you're in school or you've just got just a really, you know, busy time and you don't have a lot of time to do your Bible journaling. But then you may have a season where you're not. So, and then you may put this aside for a season and come back to it. So, I'm going to have that book available. I'm shooting for December 1st. I got to have a chat with the printer today and to make sure that that can happen. And then the ebook version will probably be ready a little bit sooner than that, and I will let you know. So you can print this out yourself. Um, and or you can actually have, and I'm going to make this a dot grid paper so you have choices, and then it's going to have the verse at the bottom of every page, and there'll be 365 verses, so it'll take you through a whole year if this process works for you. So tomorrow is I wish I didn't write the verse reference down, so I'll have to go back and look that up. The name of the Lord is a strong tower, the righteous run into it and are safe or saved, depending on which version. So there's one version of a tower. So maybe your homework today would be is find a tower that you'd like to draw, and the simpler the better. So I promise, just keep it simple. It's going to be a lot easier because again, we're trying to do we're trying to get visual in the morning, which is great, but often we just have that 15 minutes. We don't have a ton of time. So we want to make sure we keep things really concise. So, all right, there we go. So thanks so much for looking in and joining today. And I'll see you tomorrow. And we're going to learn to draw a tower. And I love you guys. And if you have any questions, let me know. And I hope you guys have an amazing day. And I'll see you tomorrow.